Hello, welcome to the introduction of Tracardi plugins. This short video will show you how to write a plugin because a lot of people are asking for it. So let's start. If you look at the project source code, this is the version 0.5. You'll see that inside the folder App, Process and Actions, you will find all the plugins that are available right now in the Tracardi. If you click on any of the plugin, I will just go for new visits. You can see that this is just a simple class, very simple. It must be a class that extends Action Runner. Action Runner is a base class that holds all the data that we can use during running an action inside Tracardi. So it has like a profile session event. If you go back, you can see that this plugin just checks if the visit is a new one. So what it does, it actually does not take any initial parameters. I will talk about initial parameters later, and it just runs one method that's called run. It must be asynchronic, and it checks if the session has an operation and new key. And if it's true, it just returns on port true, value true. The same here. So this is a simple method that takes void means takes no parameters and returns a result. We don't return a result just simple like this. We don't return it like this because Tracardi will not know where on what port should it return. What is port? Okay, let's go and see Tracardi. Port is this little thing. So you can have like more ports. If you go for if, you see that you have two ports. If you double click on it, you can see that you have output called true and false. So the first one is true and the second one is false. If you write return port true, value true, it means it will return only value on this port. Okay, what about init and init arguments? This is a configuration that is defined here. You click on the node, you go here. This is all the data that you pass here. It will be bounded to quarks. So let's go and see if action. So this is an if action. You can see that it checks if there's a condition inside quarks. Let's go to if. You can see condition. It's none. It's actually null. And it means that no data was defined. So if it's not inside quarks, or I should type it, or quarks condition is none, is none, then you raise an error that the condition is not set. And now here, this is a body of this plugin. It will be run every time we run a workflow. So you can see that what it does, it actually takes a payload. Payload, what is payload? Payload is actually what comes here. So this is a payload, it takes payload, it flattens it, and then it checks if condition is not known. And now there's an internal function that checks this condition, and if it's true, it returns true, on port true the payload, or on port false it returns also the payload. If we do not return anything on one port, or we will return none, it means this part, if there's none, this part will not work. We can just try to emulate that. Let's go and see if let's run it. Okay, there's an error. Double click on it. Sorry, again, error here. it says the condition is not set because it is not set. Let's define it. Okay, payload. What do we have on payload? Again, just go start outputs, payload none. Okay, we'll grab an information from profile. So start visits. So we go here and say profile has stats visits equal to equal to 1, bigger than 0. Okay, let's save it. Here we go, no errors, and we can see that we have an output false. Okay, import false and profile. Okay, and now let's do something like this. And oh, you can see this branch is inactive because I did not return any value on this port. So you can see I returned on port false, but did not return. There's no value for port true. If I change it and say okay, it equals 0, and just I run it again, it changed, and we can just go and see that output, there is a output on port true. It's empty because the input was empty, then the output is empty as well. But on the port false, there was no data, so that means that the next node connected to this port will not execute. So this end will not execute, and we can see it did not execute. 5 is not on the list of executed nodes. Okay, that's a quick introduction. And one last thing is this part. This part registers the plugin inside Tracardi. So we need to add here a module. Module is a path where the file is located. So it's in app, process engine, action version 1, if action. You can see if actions here. This is the class name. This is this. Input, payload. This is this. How many outputs we have? We have 2. So this is how we return data here. In it, you can see that this is the initial value for these quarks. So, oh, I had these config condition. This is the initial value, and the user changes it. Manual. Okay, we'll talk about manuals later. This is not important. And this is version, what license it's it on, and who's the author. And right, this is metadata. This is the name of the node, so you can see it's called if here. Of course, if you double click, you can if starts between 0. Okay, you can of course change it, but this is a default name for this node. This is a short description. Short description is showed when you double click. It's here. And keywords condition, it means where on the list it should be located. Look at this. This is processing actually, because this is a new version. This is called processing, but believe me, this is the name where it will be placed. And this actually you leave as it is. Icon, you can leave it. This is not important. Oh, sorry. The keywords is used internally. Don't worry about it. Group is processing. So this is where it will be placed here. Okay, and that's it. Once it's ready, you can try to use it like this. Just click here, paste the module, enter, and it should appear on your list. It's already on the list. So that's it. If you need help, just ask them on the GitHub, and then you can record new videos explaining the issues you have. Okay, thank you.